one channel, different shows, everything entertaining. Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Alright, Deadheads, I went through about 70-some questions. I highlighted the ones that specifically talked about Slabtown, the hospital, Beth, and that is the next episode we're going to be seeing. So let's get right into this because I know there's a lot of questions. Let's talk. The Walking Dead Q&A 5. Alright, to start it off, Art Hungwell. How do you think the group will reunite? The only two things that can persuade him to reunite with the group is if they get confirmation somehow about Maggie's sister. Maggie will throw a shitstorm to get back to the group or to go get Beth. Glenn will join that shitstorm. The other thing, which is probably more likely, Eugene comes out as a fake. Eugene really did not want to go. In the church, he's like, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Because think about it. If Eugene is really lying like his comic book counterpart, he's safe in this group. Rick can be his new Abraham. So he really doesn't need Abraham. Amanda Lee, what do you think about the times on the clock at the hospital for episode 4? I heard this one rumor that it means that's when Beth will be in the episodes. That was the only theory that I heard. They could be talking about the little, the hand that measures how many seconds are going by. The red hand is moving around the 4, the 8, and the 10. A lot of people are speculating that that is when she will be in those episodes, which, yeah, I guess that could be true. I personally don't believe in it. So the red hand goes past the 4, but it's also going past the 5. I mean, the picture I have, it's on the 5. The next picture, you see the red hand go from the 7 past the 8. You know what I mean? So it's actually on the 7 and the 8. So it's on the 4, the 5, the 7, the 8, and the red hand's touching the 9 and the 10. So it's not just exclusively touching 4, 8, and 10. No, you know what? I don't buy into that. Even if it was true and it tells you what episode she was in later on, big whoop. You know, it doesn't tell us anything about what we're going to see in those episodes. Anime for life. Do you think Tyrese will take Carol's role and commit suicide? No, I don't. I think Tyrese is broken, but I don't think he would do that to his sister, especially after losing Bob. So no, I don't believe so. Breaker3961. Do you think Carol gets taken helping Beth escape from the hospital or killed? Let's just say there's a lot of evidence showing she's in later episodes after episode 8, so I don't believe she's going to die at all with the hospital. She might get taken, absolutely, but she gets out. Innocent Shadow. I'm curious if you have been keeping track of how many people Rick has killed so far in the TV series. No, I only keep track of how many people I have. It's important for new people to tell Rick how many people they have killed, but I'm curious if he has been keeping track for himself. Pretty sure it's at least 18. You know what? To be honest, I have no clue. I have not been keeping track, but I'm pretty sure he's not looking for an exact answer. He might be if you've only killed 1 or 2 people. In the same strength, if you killed a lot, I'm sure he's not looking for 75, you know? I'm sure he's looking for, listen, I killed more than I could count, you know? And then he can gauge from there. Well, why did you kill them, you know? Alright, this looks like Henry Kolick. I probably pronounced that wrong. How do you feel about the differences between the show and the comic? And then he went on to talk about how I didn't like Bitchface Andrea and then Dale's death. Dale's death we can't do anything about because, again, he wanted to quit. And apparently that happened to Andrea. Don't want to beat a dead horse on his channel with that, but you guys can Google it if you want to know anything further. However, I was extremely upset. As you know before, I think Andrea's death, Andrea's character in the Governor's story arc was probably the biggest mistake The Walking Dead has ever made. However, I do enjoy the differences. I do enjoy the changes. You know what I mean? I don't even believe we've had a character die on the show the way they have in the comic. Not one, I don't believe. You can rationalize Shane, I believe, because if you think about it, it was similar. In the comic, Carl shot Shane as a human and killed him. Rick shot him as a zombie and killed him down the line. In the show, Rick stabbed him as a human and killed him. Carl shot him as a zombie. So it was a complete reversal, but it was basically the same thing, you know? That was the only one that was alike. Everyone else had different deaths or different whatever. I enjoy it being mixed around. Why I enjoy it? Because this isn't it for The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is going to have a lot more happening. You know what I mean? I'm talking about there might be a direct adaptation of the comic book in the future. You know what I'm saying? Scratch that. There will be a direct adaptation of the comic book in the future. So we got the best of both worlds. We got the comic book right now where we have that story that is really riveting and powerful, and we're fans of that. Then we have the TV show years down the line when we're saddened because it's coming to an end with our original characters. We can feel happy again because then we could see a more direct adaptation, be it a movie or something else. I have an idea upon that that's actually coming up in a new video. I do think Andrea was a huge mistake, and I do love how they're sticking more to the comic book now. Again, I feel like that's because they have a companion show that they can do whatever they want with, so why not adapt it more from the comic book? It only makes sense. And I'm glad my videos are helping you out before work. Thanks a lot for the support. Christian Banda. Do you think the group Randall was talking about in Season 2 is the same group that took Terminus from Gareth? I want to feel that it was different people. I know a lot of times in Facebook or forums, you get a lot of people saying, oh, the helicopter in Season 1 with Rick and Alana was the same helicopter as the governor. You know, I enjoy it being two different helicopters. If shit goes bad tomorrow, we're going to have different groups of rapists. You know what I mean? Different groups of thieves, pillagers. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a lot of bad groups. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy that. It would kind of suck if it was like the same group that, you know, pillaged the camp that the governor came across. Remember how they were going to pillage it themselves, but they kept moving? And then this, and then this, and then that. It would suck if it was the same little group, because then you're like, man, there's really no one around. You know what I mean? Art Feelwell. Do you think we have seen the last Rick and Abe showdown? Do you think the group will reunite before the mid-season finale? Yeah, I like that. The rest of your comment was hilarious, by the way. Yeah, I believe that's it for the Rick and Abe going head-to-head. You know, they have a lot of pressing matters ahead. So I think they might, you know, disagree a little bit here and there, but for the most part, almost tearing each other's throats out, I think that's done. It would just seem repetitive after a while, you know? As far as the group being separated, I don't think that they're going to be separated past the mid-season finale. And the biggest clue to that is because in the trailer, scenes that take place before the mid-season finale, guess who's all together? Glenn in his red shirt. You have Tara, Maggie, Rick. They're all walking out of the woods together. There's scenes of them in the trailer together that we have not yet seen on the show. Episode 7, let's say. That's a good guess. Fragile Bloodflower. You gotta be an artist. If Carol wasn't the one with Daryl at the end, then what happened to her? Well, I believe it's safe to say the cat's out of the bag, and the people who took Beth also took Carol too. How? Why? We don't know yet. Paige Myers. Do you think that the people who took Beth at the hospital are running experiments on the people they take? Also, do you think they took Carol and that we will see a Beth or Carol death because of these people? I think they're running experiments. What kind of experiments? I'm not sure, really. Maybe something to do with the fever killing you and making you die and then you turn. Maybe they're trying to do something to fight off the... so that way you get bitten and there's medicine so you don't turn. As far as if there's going to be a death, right now it's possible Beth doesn't get out of it, but honestly, other than everybody on Facebook saying that Beth has not filmed, you know, and you know, we follow her on Twitter, she's everywhere except for filming. So everyone's saying she has not filmed since, you know, 8. So it's kind of hard to hear that and draw the conclusion that, you know what, she might not. But I'm still kind of reserved about that. Stuff things. Before Rick shot Garrett's fingers off, who do you think killed the first 2 hunters? Was it Rick or Sasha or both? I say that because the shots sounded silenced. If you noticed, Sasha was... I was supposed to actually research this, remember? I said I was going to. I want to say Sasha, and I only want to say that because she had that night vision scope. And another thing, too, is we don't see it, but in the comic, Rick gives a go-ahead for Andrea. So it would make sense that they're in the dark, you know what I'm saying? And Rick gives the go, because he's going to go up the aisles, and he says, you know, take them out. I don't know. I like that idea. I would say Sasha. Let me know down below what you guys think. Joseph Clark. Coma theory. Dear Ronnie Hayes, what is your opinion on the coma theory? I think that is the worst theory that ever came up. And then there's this new theory that Beth is the one really in the coma. I don't even want to talk about that one. That is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Do you think Rick is just imagining or dreaming all of this? Kirkman went on the record and stated that this is all really happening and Rick is not in a coma. But Coral and everyone else is imagined. What the heck? I actually retweeted what Kirkman said. Kirkman said that this is definitely happening, I never saw anything or heard anybody say that Carl and the rest of the people are imagined. So honestly, you might have to comment down below. I have no clue what you're talking about. As far as the coma theory, if you guys did not know, Robert Kirkman did confirm it. Rick is not in a coma anymore. This is really happening. Apocalypsio? Do you think the hospital people are experimenting with walker bites? Yeah, I do. Do they perhaps hold a few walkers captive and let people get bitten in a controlled way so that they can watch them turn or do other creepy stuff with them? Yeah, I do. If you noticed in the trailer, you saw Beth at the gate and there was clearly walkers there. They might have some contained. I mean, they could just hold someone up against it and let their arm get bit. If you notice the girl when they're cutting her arm off, she has a very clean, like, you know, just a bite. No one ate her arm. That's what leads me to believe they're experimenting. However, it seemed like a panicked state. You know what I'm saying? So they might make Beth help. That's why she seems all freaked out. But I do feel like they're doing experiments. Bone. Will Carol find out Tyrese didn't kill Martin since she's the only one who knows? I don't believe Carol will find out unless Tyrese tells her. Even still, I don't think there's going to be a problem because Tyrese, and this is confirmed after the episode, Tyrese seriously thought he killed the guy. He really, really did. He didn't leave the guy on purpose. Bone. Gareth got into the church in 2 seconds, but all the people that Father Gabriel locked out couldn't get into the church. That's his question pretty much. My answer to that is it was a trap. You know what I mean? I'm sure the way Father Gabriel had it barricaded was a lot better. Imagine trying to set a trap but locking them out. Rob Little. Have you ever met any cast members from The Walking Dead? But no, I've never met any of them. I would love to. Corey Wilson. What if Beth is actually with Daryl in the bushes? I was thinking that when he says come on out, it would be interesting to have Beth there, and then this next episode could be an extended flashback with Beth exposing everything about the hospital and telling the group they have Carol. I realize that is pretty far-fetched. As far as Beth being the one, I don't know why. This is what trips me up. Unless it's just the way they filmed it. Why would he have to tell Beth to come out? Beth knows Michonne. They should be running out of the woods to come and see Maggie. Leah Kirkendall. From seeing the pics when Carol was hit by one of the cars, then abducted, there seems to be another possible time thing going on there too, because if you look at what Carol was wearing when she got hit, her top and blouse she's wearing are different. Maybe she wasn't taken directly to the hospital. You know, we have to be careful too when they're doing that because they could be rehearsing. And if you notice, there was an image actually put out there where Andy Lincoln has earphones in listening to music, prepping himself in front of the trough without his jacket on. So they were rehearsing the scene. A lot of times they will set it all up with the cameras and everything, and they rehearse the shot a few times for a number of different reasons. So that time when they took the picture or the people witnessed it, they could have been rehearsing it. You know what I mean? So that would explain the blouse difference. We're still not positive how Daryl got separated. I'm assuming somebody gets hurt in the van accident where the van goes over the bridge. And then you finished off with a bunch of comments that I would love to read, but we're pressed for time, and it would just seem like I'm showing off. But thank you very much for all the sweet things you said in the rest of the comment. Maytex999, do you think the showdown in the hospital and Rick's group, if it happens, will be as epic as previous finales? From the way it looks, I don't think the White Crossers are capable of fighting Rick's group. They could be badass. Think about it. If they were police, if they did have law enforcement training before the apocalypse and shit went down, it looks like they have their shit together, to be honest. They have a church on lockdown. It looks like they're clean shaven. It looks like they are still wearing their uniforms. They have clean uniforms. They have balls enough to get a bunch of vehicles, put a white cross on it to give the vehicles a uniformed look so they can identify each other. You know what I'm saying? And different shit like that. And not only that, they're going out and kidnapping people. They're going out and they have a system. I mean, you know, let's not say they're no match for Rick's group just yet. We really don't know much about them. We've seen females in uniform, but it doesn't mean that, you know, they're not badass. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do believe the Hospital Showdown will be pretty epic. Leonardo's Apprentice. Do you think either Beth will die in the finale, Carol, or neither, or somebody else? I don't believe either will. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna roll with, I don't believe either. There is a possibility Beth might die. Because, again, and only because, and this is not fair, and I pick on a few of my friends for this too. You get no points for predicting that Beth dies in mid-season finale. We can say it all we want, we can add it into our predictions, but we get no points. If we know she's not filming anymore, if it's Twitter, or if we have pictures, or if you live there and you know, you get no points for that. It looks like she's not filming anymore after that. To me, that doesn't persuade me as much because there could be a lot of indoor filming, there could be a lot of filming behind the wall, there could be a bunch of different things. No one caught Morgan filming, you know what I mean? He snuck in under the radar, probably more than once. But because of the fact that she hasn't really been seen filming, we have to kind of think that she might actually be dead. Yeah, I still feel like they're holding back major deaths. You know what I'm saying? I really, really do. I think they're holding major deaths back for when they get closer to Alexandria, and when they get in Alexandria, I feel like they're just going to slaughter some people. You know what I mean? Sam Ross. When Abraham's group is reunited with Rick, do you think that Abraham would already know about Eugene's past? You know what? That's a really good question, because if Abraham finds out about Eugene's past, then no, Rick's not going to find out until Abraham gets back, and they're like, you know what, this son of a bitch lied to me, which presents a problem in storytelling, because if you notice, because if you remember, when Rick and Abraham found out, they both had a little chit-chat in the comic, and they said, listen, now that he's a liar, what do we do? And Rick is like, well, we keep going. We just keep going. You know what I mean? We're already on our way. And that's when Aaron comes out of the blue and he says, hey guys, don't get freaked out, but, you know, and then Rick punches him and they tie him up. Anyhow, if they wanted to change it around, Abraham can find out while he's on the road. He can bring the group back. They can hit the hospital, flee from the hospital, you know, get out a certain ways from the hospital, and they could say, all right, you know what? The hospital's done. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The hospital's done. Where do we go from here? And then Aaron comes on the scene like, hey guys, don't freak out or nothing. And then they take him to Alexandria. Alan Hannigan. I think the cast is covering a bite. I don't want that to be the case, but it looks likely, given the other patients that had a bite in a similar location. Am I just paranoid? Alan, I shared that on Twitter. No one really responded. I never thought of it before, and I think that is just awesome. Imagine her trying to do all this to escape, and the big finale of the episode is the big reveal. She looks in her cast, and she has a bite on her arm. That would be awesome. I would love that. You know what? Props to you, and I changed my mind about everything after reading that. I want that to be the case, because that is just friggin' awesome. However, we do have a problem. A lot of people we saw so far got the fever quick, unless the experiments they're doing keeps the fever at bay for a while. So that's why they have the cast on her, and that's why they're watching her, to see how long the fever can stay away, or if it's going to work. Ooh, I like that. Points for you, even if it doesn't happen. You know what? I don't know who this is. I somehow lost your name as well. There's been a lot of talk about Beth going to die this mid-season finale, but what about the clue at the end of season 4 where Rick puts the cop hat on Beth and calls her the new sheriff in town? Do you think this is misleading? And then do you think she'll take Andrea's role in the comics? I don't think she'll take Andrea's role. I don't like it. I know a lot of people have got on my case about it. That's just my personal opinion, and I don't want to argue about ages. I don't want to argue about how old she is in real life. Arguments just don't work because everyone's biased. What you want gets in the way of a rational conversation. Just forget it. You know what? I made up this little image. You can look at it. This is Beth having the scars as Andrea. I feel like they did that to pay respect to comic book Andrea since she's no longer on the show. I believe they're giving the sniper version of Andrea to Sasha, and they might be giving the romance part of comic book Andrea to a brand new character or to Sasha. All of those options are likely. I do not believe Beth will be comic book Andrea, no. Jordy P15. Do you think that Dwight will be introduced in the same way as in the comics, or do you think they will use an existing character to fill the role? No, I think they're just going to change Dwight's introduction. They might have it a little bit. No, I think they're going to change Dwight's introduction. Abraham's going to live longer than that unless they put another character in his spot. However, that's such a meaningless death, and they tend to avoid that on TV, so I don't believe they're going to do that introduction with Dwight on the show. They'll probably do something different. That's how I feel. What is that? Nausicaa? F? I don't know. If at the end of season 5 the group manages to get back to Alexandria's safe zone, how do you think they will film it, as it's supposed to be in DC? Do you think they'll... Well, they already built Alexandria's safe zone, and it's already in Georgia, so yeah, they're in Georgia. You know, it's there. It's huge. Sugar Ray 22. Do you feel that the Walking Dead actors, actresses should be recognized more at award shows, or doesn't it matter? It doesn't matter. The fan base is all that matters. What the fan base can give you, an award can't. Never forget it. It doesn't matter about a bunch of critics giving you a piece of metal. It matters that fans line up in rain, sleet, or snow just to see you, just to shake your hand, and just to have you speak. Screw awards, you know what I mean? Kate, great. Do you think we'll see Negan in season 6? Yes and no. I have a Negan video that explains why I think we'll see Negan sooner. No, I feel like it's too soon. The comic book fan screams it's too soon, but the Walking Dead detective inside me thinks that it's going to happen soon. Kate Great also asked, who do you think is the perfect actor to play Negan? I say Henry Rollins. Oh man, I say you are wrong. I hate Henry Rollins for the role of Negan. I think he was perfect in Sons of Anarchy. I don't have any problem with him whatsoever as a person, but as a Negan, he could not be any wronger. There's just so much that goes into Negan. I personally think it has to be John Hamm. I do not like Kevin Durant for it. Kevin Durant has a low chuckle. That's the kind of villain he plays. The low chuckle villain. Negan is loud and obnoxious, and he's only funny to himself. He's like a comedian who makes himself laugh. That's who Negan is. Loud, obnoxious, but he's not loud like he's yelling. He's loud, he's like a, he roars from the gut when that's what I get when he talks, you know what I mean? If you're gonna unsubscribe now, I'm sorry. Please don't. Alright, Deadheads, let's break it here. Keep in mind you can follow me on Twitter, @RonnieHayes, and you can like Make a Path on Facebook. I appreciate every share, every like, every nice comment. It really makes my day reading them and seeing all the activity. It really does. Make sure you don't forget to check the link in the description down below for all the other Q&A videos. Alright, Deadheads, I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.